There are new rules coming on the use of urethane for 2026. As expected, the USBC has now announced just what these rules are, where you can use urethane, and more importantly, where urethane balls are banned. The problem is, these rules are extremely confusing and many of them don't make a lot of sense. It's left bowlers everywhere very confused about why the USBC has made so many different and conflicting rules. We needed some clarity, but instead got so many different rules and regulations, and on top of that, every tournament and organisation seems to be different, which means you probably have a lot of questions about the new rules. Can I use urethane at nationals? What about league or even pro tournaments? In this video, I'm going to clear everything up and break down exactly what the new rules are and answer all the questions you might have about using urethane in 2026. What exactly are the details of the new rules? Essentially, the USBC has adopted new tournament rules at national events, and these rules are related to the use of slow oil absorbing high performance bowling balls, which is a fancy way of referring to urethane balls, but also urethane-like balls, which I think is why they have adopted this term of slow absorbing balls rather than using the word urethane. To me, it's essentially to try and prevent ball companies coming up with alternatives to urethane. So what exactly classifies as a slow absorbing high performance ball? Well, it's any ball with oil absorption times of 90 minutes or more. And if that's the case, then the ball must be at least 78 in hardness. Only then will it be USBC approved for sale in the US, and that will be effective from the 31st of December 2025. However, it should be noted that entry-level reactive and balls without high-performance cores will not be subject to this specification. The next rule being introduced is that all slow oil absorbing high-performance balls that were manufactured before the 1st of August 2022 will be ineligible for national tournament use regardless of their hardness. Previously approved urethane balls under 78 hardness, such as the Purple Hammer and the Pitch Black, will remain on the approved list, but there will be tournaments where you can't use them, which we'll get onto shortly. Let's talk about exactly when you can use urethane, when you can only use 78 hardness urethane, and when you can't use urethane at all. Firstly, here are all the tournaments listed that you cannot use urethane at all, regardless of their hardness, and these are all national tournaments approved by the USBC. We have the US Open, the USBC Masters, the PWBA Tour national events and all regional events, the Under-22 Masters and Queens, USBC Intercollegiate Team and Singles Championship, US Bowling National Championships. As you can see, it's mainly the pro events that have banned urethane completely, although collegiate events are there too. We have two PBA events mentioned there, the US Open and the USBC Masters, but no word yet on other PBA events. But we'll get into that a little bit more later on. This section might not affect all of you watching though, so let's move on to the next category. Tournaments where you can use urethane as long as it's 78 hardness. These are all the confirmed national tournaments where you can use urethane as long as it is 78 hardness or more. The USBC Open Championships, the USBC Women's Championships, Bowlers Journal Championships, USBC Senior Masters, USBC Super Senior Classic, USBC Senior Queens, and the Youth Open Championships. If you play in any of these events, you can use a 78 hardness urethane like the Black Hammer or IQ 78, which answers the question whether you can use urethane at nationals, for example. The answer is simply yes, as long as it's 78 hardness. It's also interesting that the senior events are allowing urethane, but my guess would be that in these events, reactive is predominantly used anyway. What about tournaments that have not changed? Here's a list. Team USA Trials, USBC Collegiate Sectional and Regional Season Events, Junior Gold Qualifiers, USA Bowling Regionals, USBC Senior Championships, USBC Youth Scratch Championships, the 40 frame game, and Survivor tournaments. For all other tournaments not mentioned, it is up to the organiser to decide on what rules they wish to use. For example, the European Bowling Tour did introduce this 78 hardness rule, but have gone back on that and will allow all urethane to be used in 2026, including the Purple Hammer. There are some no urethane tournaments in Europe, so obviously they will continue to be not urethane, but pretty much everything else in Europe is now going to be as it was before, where all urethane is allowed. As you can see, it's so complicated and in so many ways it doesn't make sense. This is my personal preference, but I would have preferred for there to be a clear decision made across the board. Either urethane is allowed or it's banned completely. And that's just for the sake of clarity, because I knew this situation would happen, that there'd be so many different rules across the board, people are going to get confused, and there's a situation where one weekend you could be using the Purple Hammer at a tournament, and the next weekend you can't use urethane at all. I think the strangest ruling of them all is the use of urethane at Junior Gold. During the qualifiers, you can use 78 hardness urethane balls, but then during match play and the finals, no urethane is allowed. This makes no sense why you would have two different sets of rules for different stages of a tournament. It's all so confusing and a lot to take in, so let's summarise all this information. 1. No slow absorbing high performance balls manufactured before 2022 can be used at any national tournament. 2. All slow oil absorbing high performance balls with oil absorption times over 90 minutes must be at least 78 hardness. 3. The Purple Hammer, Pitch Black and other urethane balls softer than 78 hardness will stay on the approved list and can be used in leagues and tournaments that choose to allow them. 4. Yes, you can use urethane at the USBC Open Championships, but only if it's 78 hardness. 5. The PWBA Tour, the US Open and USBC Masters have banned urethane completely. What isn't 100% clear yet, or at least to me, is the PBA Tour stance, because outside of the US Open and the USBC Masters, it wasn't clear to me what the rules will be for other tournaments on the PBA. I couldn't see anything else mentioned on the USBC article, so I assume the PBA will make an announcement in due course, but if anyone knows any further details or if I somehow missed that announcement about PBA tournaments, then please let me know in the comment section below. I hope that all makes sense to you. I hope it's answered a few of your questions, but it is a lot to take in because it is quite complex. I'm not sure if there's many out there that agree with these new rules, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. So let me know what you think about all of these new urethane rules. I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and if you have enjoyed what you've seen here today, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button below. Well, that's going to do it from me for today, and as always, thank you bowling fans, and see you all next time.